Minecraft is a relaxing game, wouldn't you agree? You can build, play with friends, but if you get in a sticky situation in survival mode and you die, you can just go and get your stuff back. Easy, right? You can even turn on a command that when you die, you won't lose your stuff. But what if I told you there is a mode that doesn't do any of this? If you die, you lose all of your items, and even worse, it's game over. There's no coming back. Once you die, you're out of the game. Minecraft just isn't the same relaxing game anymore, isn't it? So in this video, I will be surviving a month in hardcore Minecraft. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe. I really appreciate it and it helps me out a ton. Anyways, let's start our adventure. On day 1, I started as any other Minecraft world. I got some wood and stone. Once I got basic tools, I looked around to see where I should go. I saw spruce forest, which would be really useful for the base idea I had. I also saw a pillager outpost, but I didn't want to loot it because I didn't have any armor. I decided to travel away from the pillager outpost until I could get food and iron. I eventually found a ruined portal and got 2 pickaxes, a shovel, obsidian, iron nuggets, and gold nuggets. I quickly made an iron ingot from the nuggets and crafted a shield. I then went into the cave underneath the portal and mined some stone for a furnace. The cave led to a bigger cave underneath, but I did not want to go in it because I didn't have any armor. I would rather be safe than sorry. I finally had cooked food, so I happily ate it to satisfy my hunger. Now that I was ready to go out again, I took my furnace and left. I found some sugarcane, which would be very useful, so I collected it. After that, it was almost nighttime, so I slept. And that was the end of day 1. I would say it was a pretty good start. On the start of day 2, I found another cave and mined iron and coal. While traveling, I found this massive water lake behind a mountain, so I marked down the cords and left. After I marked down the cords, I started to go to the spruce forest. At this point, it was sunset, so I slept. On day 3, I finally made it to the spruce forest. I gathered wood and saplings. Using my speedrunning knowledge, I went in the direction that had the most entities, using the F3 screen. And villages have a lot of entities. On my way, I went into a cave to see if there was any iron. Then I met my first enemy, the creeper. A mob that could easily end my hardcore world in one explosion. Thankfully, I had my trusty shield to save me. When the creeper was about to explode, I put up my shield to block its attack. I was safe. At this point, I was close to spawn. I wanted to go to the mountains, so I went. But before I left, I made my first leap of faith. I jumped from the mountain to the river under me. I knew I was going to make it, but I was still nervous. On day 4, I arrived at the mountains. I fell into some powdered snow, so I was very careful after that. The mountain had tons of iron. I was able to get 19 pieces. When my iron was smelting, I mined some more iron. With my freshly smelted iron, I made a chest plate. I also made a bucket for water bucket MLG clutching if I needed to jump or something, I don't know. Then I made full iron armor and an iron pickaxe. Once all of the iron had smelted, I had a lot of it, I took the furnace and mined some more iron even though I had a lot. At this time, it was sunset, so I started to go to the other side of the mountain and I found it. The place that would help me the most for this whole challenge. A village. I was so excited when I found it because I was confident that I could really survive these 30 days. I stared at the sun as it was setting, and I took a moment to see how far I'd come in just these few days. But don't worry, this isn't the end of the story. It's just the beginning. Okay, days 5 through 8. So I recorded days 1 through 4, then I started filming the next day. But when I finished recording, the file wasn't there. It had just disappeared. I still don't have the recording to this day, so I'll summarize it. I went down to the village and got a Fletcher villager and an Armorsmith villager. Then I went exploring past the village and found another village. So I decided to make a little hobbit hole in a mountain. That's basically all what happened in those days. On days 9 through 10, I dug out the space that I needed for the inside of the hobbit hole and started filling it in with wood. I was messing around with designs and I eventually picked this one for the floor. I also started working on the walls and the ceiling. On day 11, I realized that I didn't have any coal, so I got prepared to go mining. I decided to go to this mountain to dig a mine. Once I got there, I mined and mined and mined. While I was mining, I found my first cave. I was hesitant to go in at first, but I convinced myself to go. I didn't really find anything except copper. Because there wasn't anything worth finding, I went back to my mine. A few minutes later, I found something that could end my hardcore world. Skulk. As in ancient city, as in warden. Dude, I gotta get out of here. In panic, I started going back up into the mine. But I was curious. I wasn't even that low in the ground. Ancient cities spawn in deep slate. I was still in stone. I dug into the skulk and found that it was just a cave covered in skulk. I decided to go under it. At that point, all of my pickaxes were broken, so I left the mine on day 12. Day 12 was a bad day. I went back into the mine. I was optimistic because I thought I had passed the skulk cave, but I didn't. It was official when I got the Sneak 100 achievement. Every time I broke a block, a sensor would go off. Every time I broke a block, my heart would beat faster and faster and faster until I made it to deep slate. I had made it past the skulk, and I found my first redstone vein. I really wanted to get a redstone lamp, and now I had redstone. A few minutes of mining later, and I found, you guessed it, more skulk. I broke it and I saw the cold and dark ancient city, a real one this time. I covered it up and thought about what to do. After some time, I angrily broke all of the torches and stomped out of the mine. All of those pickaxes were for nothing. All of the resources were for nothing. And most importantly, all of my time was for nothing. I marched to my house and all of the mobs caught sight of me, but I didn't care. I slammed my door and thought about what I should do now. Dude, I really need diamonds. I wasted so much time. I really wanted a redstone lamp to put in my ceiling, but I forgot how to make it, so I googled it. And I found out to craft a redstone lamp, you need glowstone. To get glowstone, you need to go to the nether. To go to the nether, I needed a diamond pickaxe for obsidian. To get diamonds, you need a mine, and that's what I didn't have. At this point, I was so upset. To calm myself down, I looked at my dog. He didn't have to worry about anything. He was happy wherever he went. Then I had an idea. I could make a lantern for the time being. On day 13, I needed a day to clear my head. I went to the village and chopped down some trees. Don't worry, of course I replanted them, and traded with the Fletcher. But he had other plans. He left the house. I was getting worried because I didn't want anything to happen to him. But I remembered there's a trick that if you put a villager's workbench, then they move to it. So I moved the fletching table back into the house, and it worked. After all that, he was out of stock. I went behind the mountain to chop and replant trees. On my way back, I found this massive cave, but I did not want to go in it. Too risky. When I got back to the village, the Fletcher was still out of stock. At this point, it was sunset. While I was walking back, I got this really good shot of my house. But I was suddenly under attack by phantoms. Thankfully, I made it inside. I hadn't worked on the inside of my house for a few days, so I spent all of the 13th night replacing all the stone with wood. I added some pillars and thought they looked really nice. While mining out the side of the hobbit hole, I found an emerald ore, which was really weird because I was in a small mountain. After adding in more pillars, it was looking really good. On day 14, I did normal stuff. I organized my items, got sand for glass, cut down my huge spruce tree, and worked on the house. In a blink of an eye, it was nighttime. I used this time to transfer all my items into some more chests in the walls. After that, I worked on the side of the base. I made an arch for the ceiling, and I really liked it. It was morning time again, and we are officially halfway done with this challenge. I went outside and stared at the sun as it was rising. I was proud. I was proud of everything that I had accomplished in just 15 days, but I still had a lot of work to do. I filled in the right part of the base. I also wanted to make 2 more sections and then my bedroom. While mining it out, I found this small cave. I saw some mobs further down in the cave, so I went down to light it up so I wouldn't be annoyed by mob sounds. After that, I went back to work. I placed some pillars, put some pork chops in the furnace, and stopped by the village on top of my mountain to mine some trees. I noticed the iron golem wasn't looking too good, so I took some iron and healed him. It was the least I could do. He was doing a great job protecting the villagers. I guess you can call me Dr. Luke now. It was day 16 now. To celebrate, I tried to do a 360 water bucket MLG, but I failed it. I took a trip to the first village and found a house that really reminded me of the old village houses. I needed some more oak wood for my house, so I went behind the mountain to mine some. Once I got back to my hobbit hole, I finished placing all of the wood. My house wasn't quite finished yet, but it was getting there. After that, I went to the first village and collected some flowers. You'll see what I'll do with them later. I also got attacked by a spider. I frantically ran into a house and calmed down. After regenning, I was brave enough to run back to my house. Once I got there, I used the flowers to make carpets for my bedroom. I realized I never finished the roof, so I quickly did that. On day 17, I made some shelves and put some utilities on it. After that, I decided to take a risk and loot the pillager outpost by spawn. I was nervous, but I was ready. Arrows were shot at me, so I blocked up the door. I ran up quickly and found a crossbow, crops, iron, wood, and a goat horn. Something that I wanted the most. After looting it, I was trying to figure out how to leave. The more time I stayed, the more time pillagers would spawn. I placed some water down and jumped. I was victorious. Once I got home, I made an item frame and placed the goat horn in it to show it was my first risk that I took, but I had succeeded. At that point, I went to the first village to trade with the Fletcher and cut down more trees for sticks. On days 18 through 22, I started a new mine by my house. After a few minutes, I found a mine shaft, but under it was Skulk. I was worried at first, but I crafted some more torches and went into the cave next to the mine shaft and mined iron and redstone. I noticed the ancient city was there as well. I now had to be very careful. I quietly shifted around the mine shaft and found my first diamond ore. It was 1, but it was still awesome. I explored past the mine shaft and yoinked all of the iron. Then I had an idea. I can mine into the floor and go past the ancient city. I mined quite a bit, but then this sound scared the life out of me. It was a thunderstorm, but I was so low down in the world, I still don't know how the sound traveled that far. Dude! Can you not, please? While mining, I found some more diamonds, even enough for a diamond pickaxe. I got down to Y-53 and started crawl mining. After about 10 minutes, I heard lava. I could use lava for another portal, so I dug to it and mined 20 obsidian with my freshly crafted diamond pickaxe. After that, I went back to mining, and immediately I found more diamonds. It was a 5 vein. I also found another cave and found even more diamonds. I had enough for a diamond chestplate. I called it quits after that and went back home. With my diamonds, I crafted my first piece of diamond armor. I was so proud. On day 23, I collected flowers and made a loom. You might see where I'm going with this. I made my very own crown banner. And that wasn't all. I decided to put it on my shield. Now I had a custom shield. On day 24, I started building my nether portal. I wanted it to be unique. I wanted it to look like it was coming out of the ground. I picked the spot by my old mine. This was the basic shape and I really liked it. I wanted to smooth the shape of it a little, so I got some slabs and stairs and put it on, and it looked really nice. I also made a staircase of dirt so grass would grow on top. The portal was finished, but I wanted to light it on day 30 to celebrate, which is pretty soon. I needed something to do, so I made a nice path from the mine to my base. On day 26, I upgraded the entrance to the mine. I came up with this design and it looked good. On day 27, I had an idea to get a lot of emeralds. This was to make a string farm. I needed some materials, and after I got them, I started to build the farm. How this farm works is, if you don't know, if you break a piece of string with shears, it doesn't actually break. It goes in a weird mode, so we can manipulate it. With breaking the string and flipping this lever, it could duplicate them. But it just wasn't working. I was doing something wrong. I kept trying to do it for like 10 minutes or something, so now it was day 28. I didn't want to waste any more time, so I went into a test world, and after a few attempts, it worked fine. So I went back into the hardcore world and tried it again. After a few more attempts, it worked. Why it wasn't working was because I was doing it way too fast. So now I had a lot of string and I needed storage. I got some hoppers and made a storage system. Why I did all of this is because fishermen villagers trade string for emeralds, and I could trade emeralds for diamond armor. On day 29, I got some fishermen villagers. I was very excited because I was so close to 30 days. But a creeper wanted to join in on the excitement. It blew up right behind me. If I didn't have a diamond chestplate that I crafted a few days ago, I would have lost my entire hardcore world. After that, I went around the village trading string for emeralds. I was trying to get everything done before day 30. After I got a lot of emeralds, I wanted to trade with the armorsmith villager at the first village. On my way back, I got bombarded by mobs. I almost died. That's how serious it was. I ran into the mine and towered out and went to the village and traded with the villagers. At last, the sun was rising. It was day 30. I remembered how I was at the start. I had nothing. I was just trying to find my place in this Minecraft world. I did everything I wanted to accomplish. I had armor, tools, a base, and villagers. I wanted this day to be special, so I unsat my dog and went to the portal. You know what time it is. Time to light the portal. Now, because the challenge was over, I didn't have time to go in. Maybe a next episode. The next thing that was on my list was to go to the nearest lake and fish. Take my dog on an adventure. I crafted a fishing rod and put my dog into a boat and we sailed off. I started to fish. This is what Minecraft is all about. To take your mind off of the stresses of real life and unwind, relax, and have fun. If you've seen some of my other videos, I play a lot of Bed Wars and on servers. But playing Minecraft as it was in the beginning was game changing. It completely changed my view of the game. After fishing for a little bit, I traded a little bit more with the villagers and said not goodbye, but see you later to them. The sun was almost fully set, so I walked back to my house and fed my dog some pork chops and looked around my house. It was so nice and cozy. I was ready to end the challenge, so I went to sleep to end day 30. That was a month in hardcore Minecraft. If you enjoyed, please like and consider subscribing. This video took around 30 hours to make, so I really appreciate it. If this video gets 30 likes for 30 Minecraft days, I would love to do more episodes of this series. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.